Hello guys. One of my best friends, Jesse, 30M, is getting married next month to Natalia, 27F. I, 30M, have known Jesse since kindergarten. We grew up together. I lived down the street from him. We used to walk to school together. We were in Boy Scouts together. We literally have seen each other through thick and thin. He ended up dating my ex-GF, back in the day when I tried to fit in and was denying who I truly was. I'm gay. And he was there when I came out to my family, and his mom and dad have always been like second parents to me. They even refer to me as their adopted son. Jesse's the closest thing I have to a brother. He's had his fair share of girlfriends over the years. He was captain of the volleyball team and even went to college with a scholarship he received from it. He's a good-looking, intelligent guy who's never had a problem with women. It was just hard for him to keep one because his job is so demanding and he didn't really have the time to devote to a woman. But when he met Natalia 3 years ago, he said that he knew she was the one and she was exactly what he's been looking for all these years. She totally gets it. They're head over heels for each other and I couldn't have been more happy for them both. Last year, Jesse and Natalia went to San Francisco where he popped the question and she excitedly said yes. Natalia was always sweet to me. It took her a bit to warm up to our group of friends because we've all known each other since we were kids. I think when that happens, people feel sort of like the outsiders because we have so many stories we tell and so many inside jokes. So at first, she came in with a hard shell. That and she was trying to get into law school, so I think she was trying to stay as controlled as possible. But for the most part, as soon as she warmed up to us all, she was very sweet and super kind to me. We had even spent a lot of time together, just one-on-one. We loved thrifting, so we spent time doing that. We did a lot of cooking classes together. She liked exploring new things and so did I, so it was fun to have someone to do that with. But as soon as they got engaged, Natalia's attitude towards me drastically changed. I mean, a complete 180. She was distant towards me, she wouldn't look at me, she'd ignore me at times, avoid me, and she would hardly speak to me, which was super weird and totally out of the ordinary. At first, I thought maybe I had done something wrong or said something to her that maybe offended her. So for the longest time, I tried to think back to see what I could have done. Finally, I kind of asked Jesse if Natalia was okay since she's been acting super odd towards me. And he denied anything was wrong and said he hadn't heard anything. And then I asked my BF if I should confront Natalia about it and he told me that I should, and he said maybe it's because I put forward the opportunity to use my family's cabin as a wedding venue. So a little context, when they got engaged, I put forward this idea that they should get married at my family's cabin a couple hours west from here. I told them it's a beautiful little intimate setting and that people can stay there over the weekend and there's camping really close if people want to do that. At the time, they both sounded really excited about the idea and said yes right away. Natalia even wanted to go out and see it for herself to start planning, so all four of us went out for a weekend and it was actually so fun. But now my BF Tom made me second guess this and he's saying that maybe they felt pressure to say yes and maybe Natalia had something else in mind. And I'm like, okay. Fair. So I tried to build up this courage to ask her. But until then I kept my distance from Nat. 5 months ago, we all received a save the date invitation and it showed that their wedding was going to take place indeed at my family's cabin. Apparently they were also going to keep it small due to the size of the cabin, so everyone was only allowed to bring one guest. I mean, there were about 30 of us in the friend group, including plus ones, and then whatever family they wanted to attend. So numbers seemed small. But when I looked at my invite compared to everyone else's, I didn't have the opportunity to bring a plus one. Now my BF and I have been together for almost 8 years, and we've all hung out before, so she knows of Tom. Then I called her and I said, hey, is there a mistake with my invite? And she goes, nope. And she says this really matter-of-factory. Then I say, so Tom isn't invited? And again she says nope. And she goes, I can't even believe we're having this conversation and that you're even questioning me about the details of my wedding and who I am and am not allowed to invite to my own wedding. And I was totally taken aback. And I said, whoa. You're having the wedding at my family cabin. I've been with Tom for years. We file our taxes as common law. There's no way Tom isn't going to be there the weekend of the wedding. So I'd crawled up here at SS, but it better crawl back out. And she goes, I know you love Jesse and I know you're going to do whatever it is to prevent this wedding from happening. And the only reason why you're invited is because we have to have the wedding at your stupid ugly at SS cabin. Frankly, I feel sorry for Thomas because everyone knows you're madly in love with Jesse and you always have been. So I don't even know why you'd want him to be there, and frankly why you'd even want to be there on the day he marries me. And then I asked her what the fuck she was talking about and she said I knew and to not act stupid. And then she hung up. I get off the phone and I call Jesse and tell him what just happened and I show him a photo of my invite versus what our other friends have received. He was not happy at all, so he called me back with her in speaker and made her apologize to me. But I didn't believe it for 1 second. I tell Tom what happened as soon as he gets home from work because I'm visibly upset. Tom tries to calm me down and he says that he'll be there no matter what and no matter what that bitch says. And he's laughing at the fact that she thinks I'm in love with Jesse. And I'm like, I mean, I love him but definitely not like that. And so then Tom and I just kind of laugh it off. Then, a bit after receiving the invites, I was invited by Jesse to go suit shopping with him because he needs one, and since I'm the best man, I need to get one too. I asked him if Natalia was coming and he said yes. And then I declined at first and he's like, come on, she said she was sorry and you're my best man and I want you there. And I'm like, did you guys even talk about where you wanted the wedding at, or did you just say yes because it's my family's cabin? And he's like, no, we definitely talked about it and we are both on the same page of wanting it there. And he said that they're really grateful that I even offered it up and they think it's perfect. And I'm like, do you both think it's perfect or do you think it's perfect? And he's like, where are you going with this? And I'm like, I feel like maybe you talked Nat into having the wedding at my cabin. And he's like, if this is still about the phone call you guys had, I'm really sorry about that, but please don't get into your head about this. Nat and I really want to have it at your cabin and we wouldn't have it any other way. We're both so excited and so thankful for you. And so I just brushed it off because I knew he was either saying something to me to make me feel better or he was denying the fact that Nat didn't want the wedding at my cabin because she hated me. So then I end up going to this dress fitting and Nat is ghosting me and totally ignoring the fact that I'm even there. Anything that I say to Jessie she's criticizing and saying the exact opposite. So we both ended up trying these ugly suits that fit weird and were all wrong for a spring wedding. While Jessie was in the change room, she'd literally tell me to back the fuck off or I'll cancel this wedding. I'll take Jessie to the justice of the peace, and you won't be a part of any wedding. And then she said as soon as they're married, she's going to make it so Jessie has nothing to do with you after. You'll be dead to him. And she's like, the only reason why you're a part of this day at all is because it's saving us a shit ton of money and Jessie wants you there. I'm literally sitting there like, this bitch is crazy. Even the lady at the store who's helping us is overhearing this and looking at me like WTFFFF. What Nat didn't know was that I was recording her the entire time and sending the recordings to Tom and he saved them all. I wanted to back pocket these in case I ever needed them. I didn't want to ever have to send them to Jessie because I know how much he loves her, but I was seriously questioning his sanity and choosing this one. Anyways, after Jessie comes out of the change room, I tell him that I'm backing out of this wedding because I don't agree with his choice of partner. I can't stand by him knowing what she's truly like and how she treats me. I can't stand by and just pretend this isn't happening. And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, just ask your fiancé. And I get up and leave. I get all of these calls from him and text messages later saying how he could treat them like that and what are they going to do for the venue now and telling me how selfish I am. And then I get calls and voicemails from Nat and she's straight up saying the most heinous homophobic shit to me that I can't ever repeat. And she's saying that she knew I'd try to sabotage their wedding and I've ruined everything and left them to try and figure out somewhere else to have a wedding, that I had planned this all along, blah blah blah. So I'm telling all of this to Tom and he's saying that I should save the voicemail that Nat left me and send those and the recordings I made and send them to Jessie. And so I did just that. So I write this big long message to Jessie basically telling him that I love him like a brother and he deserves to know the truth about who he's marrying and I don't want him marrying someone who treats people like that. At first he tries to tell me that I'm just trying to start something. And then I'm like, no, I have proof. I don't want to send you this but I will. And then he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I had to record her because I knew you wouldn't believe me. And he's like, so now you're just recording people without their consent? And I'm like, Jessie, you need to know what you're getting yourself into. Then I hit send on all of the evidence. After I send him all of that, I don't hear from him for a couple of days until he pops over unannounced. I'm not sure what to think at first. I'm a bit apprehensive. When I end up answering the door, I can see that he's been crying. He asks if he can come in but he understands if I don't want anything to do with him. Of course I let him in and we end up chatting about how he's sorry he didn't believe me and he can't believe the way she was treating me and how he was just unknowingly letting it happen. He said that she played him so hard and he doesn't want anything like that in his life. He just kept apologizing and he said that he left her and called it all off. He spent the last couple of days contacting people and telling them that the wedding was off. He thanked me for sticking around and for my friendship over the years and he said that I never deserved to be spoken to or treated the way that Nat was treating me. He thanked me for offering up my cabin and being so honest with him and stopping him from marrying such an evil person. He said he really thought that she was the one. He said he appreciates me and our friendship so much and he just kept saying that he was sorry for how she treated me and what she said. He was blinded by wedding bells and didn't want to believe it because he was just so excited to get married. I told him he's not going to have a problem finding the one. And not just any one. Then we both laughed at how obviously I love him but I don't love him enough to be jealous of some crazy chick and break them up. He said that while he was there talking to me, she was moving out of their place. Her parents were so pissed off with him until he showed them what I sent him. They couldn't believe it. At this point, she's also trying to blast me on social media but I've blocked her so I can't see it and Tom doesn't have her on socials. People are sending me screenshots and she's throwing all of these homophobic slurs around and saying that I'm a homewrecker and that I sabotaged the wedding because I'm in love with Jessie. There was a friend of ours that went on blast with Nat and started posting videos of what she was saying to me and it got really wild and a lot of people had my back and messaged me apologizing for how she was behaving. Even her parents called me and apologized. They said they had originally funded her schooling for law school but took that back and wanted to give that to Tom and I to fund a wedding if we wanted. And I said that was way too kind of them, but then Tom was like no. Haha. JK. But they insisted and now we have a little something to help us have a day to celebrate us and start a new journey together. Tom and I weren't engaged at that time, but he recently popped the question and I said yes. I guess he was planning on something elaborate after Jesse's wedding. He didn't want to steal their thunder, but now that that's all over, he wanted to end it on a good note. Obviously Jesse is my best man. We're doing something intimate at, you guessed it, my family's cabin. And our closest friends and family are invited. We're planning it for August. So turns out, there will be a wedding after all. And even though Jesse is heartbroken and totally whiplashed by everything that happened, he's super happy for us. He hasn't heard from Nat. None of us have. But one thing's for sure, she ain't married and she ain't going to be a lawyer anytime soon. Now on to the next story. Story 2. Discovered my wife was cheating on me with a married man. So I catfished him and invited his wife to confront them together. We exposed their affair and I divorced my wife. I'm a 28-year-old guy, and I've been happily married to my awesome wife, Ella, who's 25, for about 3 years now. We're the kind of couple who knows each other so well that we finish each other's sentences and laugh at each other's silly jokes. Life has been pretty great, or at least that's what I believed. Recently, though, I couldn't help but notice that Ella has been acting a bit strange. She started staying late at work more often and became all secretive about her phone. It might sound weird, but call it a gut feeling or just intuition. I had this hunch that something might not be quite right. After weeks of trying to push away those troubling thoughts, I finally decided to confront the situation head on. It was nerve-wracking, but I knew I needed to find the truth, even if it meant facing some painful realities. Late one night, while she was asleep, I planned to check her phone and go through her messages and apps. I had never done something like this before, but I hoped it would give me some clarity, and deep down, I prayed that my gut instincts were wrong. As I was swiping through her photo gallery, my heart sank when I saw a picture of her with an unfamiliar man kissing her cheek. I couldn't help but think, what on earth is going on? Why would she do this if she was happy with me? My curiosity led me to read her messages, and that's when I discovered a chat with a guy named Jacob. They had been meeting up at hotels, and their conversation was filled with very explicit and intimate details. It was a painful and shocking revelation that left me feeling betrayed and hurt. I never thought I'd find myself in a situation like this, but now I needed to figure out how to confront her and talk about what I had discovered. I was feeling a whirlwind of emotions, furious and heartbroken at the same time. The person I loved the most had betrayed me by cheating with another man. Trying to process it all, I decided to sleep on it and confront Ella in the morning. When morning came, she looked really stressed and anxious. She must have noticed that her phone was moved from her usual spot on the bedside table. Annoyed, she asked me if I had gone through her phone. With a calm expression, I told her to stop pretending because I already knew she had been cheating on me. To my complete surprise, Ella broke down and admitted that she had cheated because she felt bored with her life, and Jacob, the other man, was also married. She went on to reveal that they were in love and that Jacob's wife had no idea about their affair. As she divulged more and more details, my heart sank, and it felt like my world was collapsing around me. It was after that moment that I felt a sense of responsibility not only to myself but also to Jacob's unsuspecting wife, Mandy. She deserved to know the truth about what was happening. So, I made up my mind to talk to Mandy about everything. I knew it wouldn't be an easy conversation, but I couldn't let her continue living in the dark. To reach out to her, I reached out to her on social media after finding out Jacob's social media when I was going through the messages. I asked her if we could meet privately to talk and she was hesitant at first, and then I told her that I have something to tell her about her husband. Then, she agreed, and we decided to meet at a quiet cafe. As I started to share the truth with Mandy, her face went through a roller coaster of emotions from shock to disbelief, and finally, heartbreak. It was clear that this revelation was painful for her to take in. Despite the heartache, Mandy appreciated me telling her the truth. She deserved to know what was happening behind her back, and I hoped she would gather the strength to confront her cheating husband and find a better path for herself. Seeking revenge can be a risky game, but I wanted Jacob to understand the pain he caused both me and Mandy. So, I decided to give him a taste of his own medicine. I created a fake social media account and began flirting with Jacob, knowing he wouldn't be able to resist. I portrayed myself as a single woman, looking for excitement and adventure. Sure enough, Jacob fell right into the trap, and we started chatting regularly. I couldn't help but think about how Ella would react when she discovers that her supposed true love is also cheating on her. I played my part to perfection, leading Jacob on and making him believe that there was a real chance for something more between us. I could tell he was excited and eager to meet in person. That's when I decided to drop the bombshell. I revealed my true identity and confronted him about the affair with Ella. To make things even more intense, I asked Mandy to be there with me, and I also ensured that Ella would be present too. When we all got there, the expressions on Ella's and Jacob's faces were absolutely priceless. Mandy didn't hold back and told Jacob that she was divorcing him and done with their relationship. At the same time, I didn't spare Ella the truth either. I let her know that her so-called lover Jacob had come to meet me, thinking I was a woman to hook up with. To add to the drama, I handed over the divorce papers to her. The shock and guilt in Jacob's voice were evident as he tried to explain himself, but I wasn't interested in his excuses. I wanted him to feel the same pain he caused others. After that confrontation, I cut all contact and walked away, feeling a mix of satisfaction and sorrow. Ella looked equally confused and she started to cry, begging me to stay and that she still loved me. I didn't believe anything she said. I told her that I will give her a week to pack up and leave from my house. And I walked away. It felt amazing to get back at her and moreover it felt amazing to pick myself up for once. I deserve better and I know it. In the weeks that followed, the pain slowly began to subside, and I focused on rebuilding my life. With the support of friends and family, I rediscovered the person I was before the betrayal, and I started to heal. During this time, I also took the necessary steps to finalize my divorce from Ella. It was a challenging process emotionally, but I knew it was the right decision for my own well-being and happiness. As for Mandy, she and I developed a strong bond of friendship. Going through similar experiences had connected us in a unique way, and we both found solace in each other's company. Mandy decided to move on from the painful chapter of her life and focus on her own growth and happiness. In the months that followed, I immersed myself in new hobbies, career opportunities, and social activities. I surrounded myself with positive influences and took the time to rediscover what truly made me happy. Through self-reflection and personal growth, I came to realize that my worth wasn't defined by anyone else's actions or choices. I learned to love and value myself, and that newfound self-respect allowed me to attract healthier relationships into my life. Eventually, I met someone new. A kind, understanding, and loyal person who appreciated me for who I was and treated me with the love and respect I deserved. We took things slowly, allowing trust and affection to blossom naturally. This relationship taught me that there is hope for love after heartbreak and that the right person can come into your life when you least expect it. As for Ella and Jacob, I heard through the grapevine that their relationship was short-lived after the confrontation. The trust they once had in each other was irrevocably shattered, and they went their separate ways. In the end, I chose not to dwell on revenge or bitterness. Instead, I focused on my own growth and happiness. The experience taught me valuable lessons about trust, forgiveness, and the importance of prioritizing self-love.